Hello everybody, big welcome to the Millennium Stadium for the big championship kick-off. Featherstone Rovers get their league campaign underway against the Batley Bulldogs in a West Yorkshire derby, a repeat of last week's Challenge Cup outing. Featherstone have had a fantastic start to the year in the Challenge Cup, looking to build on that today against a really tough and turgid Batley Bulldogs side. Let's start our coverage here. I'm going to bring in Pete Dutton. Pete, you were here last week to see Featherstone and Batley in action. It was a really tough contest. Where do you think this game's going to be won and lost?
Well, good evening everybody, and welcome to this one. I think both these teams know one another pretty much well now, having this will be the third time they've met in 4 weeks. For me, it's going to be in the forward pack today. I think that with the mobility of Featherstone's pack, that Batley's really going to have to defend and be on the front foot. And also vice versa. Batley have also got some very mobile forwards. So again, it's going to be a case of both defensive units having to work hard, Matt.
We've seen Featherstone in the games when they get going. They did it against Bradford, 2 10-minute spells. I think they did it against Batley. There were 2 10-minute spells where they just ripped through the teams. We know what they're capable of. I suppose the question is, can they do it for longer, or will they not be able to do it in those bursts? That's ultimately a lot of where Featherstone's success is going to come from tonight.
Well, I think we've seen from as we already know, two 12-minute spells in last week's game ultimately cost Batley. In the pre-season friendly, again, there was a couple of spells where Featherstone tore them apart and just ran rampant with the quick plays and the quick tries. A lot of the action that develops, Matt, is around the ruck area, and the likes of Connor Jones, for Featherstone, and also Alistair Leake, when he comes on. I know he's been on substituted twice as he started, but when he comes on, the speed, the ruck area up and the ruck play, and again, that's going to be another crucial area, for which team will dominate. We're
going to hear from the coaches very shortly. Just on the Batley pack, dynamic is probably the word I'd use. They've got some real explosive players in there, I should say. How important is it that Featherstone contain that, win that battle in the middle, and then get those boys that sprinkle the talent on top into the play?
Well, we know rugby league is a simple game, but it's all about the arm wrestle from the start. It's all about making sure that you've got the power and that you're on top. I do like Batley, very mobile. Michael Ward is a player that I really rate for Batley. I think he's really good, and he comes on and he does a lot of graft. But then vice versa, in the Featherstone pack, you've got Brad Day, and he's a workhorse and another outstanding player. And again, it'd be interesting to see how those battles, a lot of it will evolve around, like we say, the ruck area, Matt, in my mind. And if they get in service from the ruck area, the big lads coming onto it, then it should be a cracker.
Well, Pete, we'll hear from you later. They are some of the key battles that we're looking forward to see. We're going to continue our coverage now by listening to what the coaches had to say. We've spoken to the Batley coach, Craig Lingard, but first, here's the Featherstone head coach, James Webster. James, you had a brilliant start with the Challenge Cup. How important is it that you convert those performances, certainly the first one against Bradford, into championship action today?
Yeah, this is what we started for. Your Challenge Cup's a great distraction, but we spoke about during the week. It's a really weird feeling that we're none from none. Realistically, in the league, it feels like we've won our first 2 games, and that's not the case. Everyone's starting from scratch again. So we've reassessed where we're at. We thought we've done some really good things, and some areas, especially last week, we've been really poor in. So it's going to be a tough game. Batley, wear their heart on the sleeve, don't they? Come in ready to play, and I'm sure they're not holding a lot of fear after the way they played last week.
You know what you're going to get from them, given you only played them a week ago. Where do you need to improve? Where do you want to improve to make sure that scoreline's a bit more convincing this time around?
We need to give ourselves a better chance to play well. We dropped the ball 14 times last week, and continually let a strong Batley team, into the game. So we were camped on our try line for too long, and any team, let alone one with enough quality that Batley have in their squad, they're going to get you at some stage. So, a bit more respect for the ball and a bit more nous to actually use the ball a bit more. I think we've been a bit dumb with how we've played, and I don't think we've been able to show, what our capability is yet.
Craig, you're back at familiar ground, not too long since you were last here. What did you learn about Featherstone last time, and how do you hope to use that in this game?
We know they've got plenty of quality, so if you have a playoff, they're going to punish you. So we need to make sure that we have all those guys are switched on for every single play. We know that if we lose the ruck, they've got some real good dummy arse that can just jump out and scoot and eat the space up. So, we played pretty well for big chunks of the game last week, but we had a 10-minute spell in each half, and that cost us. So we need to know. We know we need to play for the full 80 this week. You do have some key men back, especially in the pack. Dane Manning and James Brown hasn't played yet. How big a boost will they be to your side tonight? Yeah, it's massive. They're both leaders for us. James Brown's as captain this year, and Dane Manning leads by his actions. So they'll be big for us. Josh Tonks is back in as well. We've changed as full middle unit this week. We conceded 4 tries in the opening 20 minutes last week, which weren't good enough. So we brought 4 new middles into that middle unit this week. So hopefully they're going to give us a big start.
Let's go through the teams then as we edge ever closer to kick-off. We'll start with the Featherstone Rovers, who have Craig Hall at full-back, Ben Blackmore and Chris Wellham after his move from Salford. Everyone excited to see him in action. Josh Hardcastle and Gareth Gale are on the other wing. In the halves, it's Dane Chisholm and New Brown, Craig Kopchak, Connor Jones and James Lockwood, the captain. The front row, Brad Day, Frankie Holton and Jack Bussey complete the starting 13. On the bench, James Harrison, who's been in fantastic form early doors, Dean Paratta, Luke Cooper and Junior Moores. As for the Bulldogs, they have Elliot Hall playing at fullback, no Luke Hooley, who's taken a knock. Johnny Campbell and Jack Logan on one side. Kieran Buchanan, watch out for him. He's been impressive since his move from Hull. He's at centre, partnering Jody Broughton. It's Ben White and Tom Gilmore in the halves. Adam Gledhill, Alistair Leake and James Brown up front. The captain back for Batley, hasn't played yet this season. Neither is this man, former Featherstone Rovers back rower Dane Manning, alongside Lucas Walshaw, and another one back in the team, Josh Tonks. On the bench for Batley, Niall Flynn, Michael Ward, Toby Everett and Jack Blackburn. Pete, it's getting close now. We aren't too far away. What are you expecting from the opening exchanges of this game?
Well, Mark, both sets of players should have a pretty good idea of the strengths and weaknesses of the opponents. It's going to be a case of who settles quickest. And I think that whichever team can settle quick and build some momentum, they'll probably end up taking the 2 league points that's on offer today. It's going to be a case of both teams need to cut out the errors and stay focused, when they've got possession, not turn over cheap penalties and not give the opponents advantage. And the final thing, Matt, for me, I think that they've got to be dominant in defence. Both teams really, really do have to start and set the house on fire defensively.
Well, we've already had 2 championship games on our league this evening, I should say, and impressive wins for Halifax and Oldham. Halifax beating London 47 points to 14, which I don't think many people saw coming. As for Oldham, coming from behind to beat Swinton, who started the season brilliantly, but they couldn't keep hold of a 2010 league. In the end, the Ruffians winning that one 28-20. It's already promising to be an unpredictable, really exciting, interesting championship campaign.
Well, it's shaping up that way, Matt. When you look at it, me and you both spoke as Halifax were playing, and yeah, who would have expected Halifax putting on such a score against the Broncos, and again, Oldham turning it round against Swinton. It all bodes well for what's going to happen here, because they've played one another third game in 4 weeks. So far, Rovers have taken it, on 2 occasions, but they've been pretty close scores. 36-16 in a friendly, 30 points to 22 in the Challenge Cup. So again, I'm expecting another close game, and on average, there's never more than 31 points scored. You know, on average, there's never any more than 31 points scored between these two teams in a game. So
makes for an intriguing battle indeed. Not too far away now. The music's going. Everyone's waiting. The floodlights are on. We're in for another championship cracker right here at the Millennium Stadium. Just on Batley, I want to put a bit of focus on them because they've really impressed and probably caught people out a little bit, beating Halifax, then coming to Featherstone and not being a million miles away. They complete hard, they run hard, and they tackle hard. They do the basics and the fundamentals very, very well, and that has made them hard to beat so far.
I think a lot of it's to do with the, bringing in Tom Gilmore, and he's now he's settling in, he's finding, the players and the calls that he wants, and he's getting to know which runners he needs, and he's organising that. You've also got to look at Alistair Leake. Alistair Leake's been around a long time. He knows the game inside out. And again, I think the combination of Leake and Gilmore adds that little bit of value to the Batley overall picture. You've then got to bring in the pack that they've got, the likes of Lucas Walshaw. And another lad that's really, really impressed me in the times that I've seen him play so far this year is Elliot Hall. I know he's playing at fullback, but he has scored on each occasion that he's played here, Matt.
Yep, indeed. Well, we'll keep an eye out for that as well as the Rovers come out onto the field looking to get their championship campaign off to a flying start, just like the Challenge Cup has been so far. Looks like they'll be going up the slope. It's not quite the same as Batley's slope here at the Millennium Stadium, but it's a slope all the same. And Featherstone will be looking to run rampant up it in the first half. Still waiting for the Bulldogs here, but we're not too far away from kick-off. Just on Featherstone, we talk about the quality, the sprinkling of quality that Batley have invested in their side in Tom Gilmore, but this Featherstone team oozes class. There's so many strike players in this team.
From the whole squad, that Featherstone have assembled. You've got bags of Super League experience. You've got bags of younger players who are keen, and really want to make a mark in the game. Again, if I were to pick out a couple of players beforehand, Matt, I'd look at the likes of Frankie Holton. He's really, really come in, settled well, and put in some good performance. Connor Jones, again, work rate's phenomenal, and he will get himself about, and he'll be busy, and he'll be looking to make those runs from the ruck area. You can't take away then what James Webster normally does is he'll then introduce James Harrison off the bench and Dean Parata off the bench.
Some players to bring off the bench.
Yeah, it is. And if you add in Junior Moores as well, mate, into that, you think, wow, would you as an opposition team, when you see these players coming up, you've got to think, what are we up against here?
Agreed. Well, we're about to get underway. The Bulldogs are out on the field. It's the Rovers and the Bulldogs live on our league as both teams get their championship campaigns up and running. Looks like the Bulldogs will be kicking off here with Tom Gilmore, the man with the cone. Just on Gilmore, he'd signed for Ottawa Racers, which I don't think many people expected would be the case. Obviously that move hasn't happened, Pete, but Ottawa's loss is certainly Batley's gain.
Definitely is, and he's been a revelation for him since he come in. First game, first pre-season friendly. It didn't click, but it certainly clicked since.
Indeed. Well, here we go. Gilmore has the ball on the tee, and the thrills and spills of the championship start here for these two teams, collected by Hardcastle. Forward come Featherstone. Chase is good, and an eager first tackle there from Batley. Look at that. We know that Lucas Walshaw is dominant in that Batley pack, and he showed it early doors there. Quick scamper out from Blackmore, who takes the ball forward for Fev. It's Chisholm jumping in at dummy half, and here's the captain on captain, Lockwood and Brown, and an early penalty for Featherstone Rovers, who will make headway upfield after the ball steal.
Well, it's a good start, Matt. Just what we would have expected from Featherstone, and an early penalty there. And this is what I'm saying, could that come back to haunt Batley later?
Well, we shall see. Featherstone will start only 40 metres out as Chisholm gets his hands on the ball. Kopchak with the dummy, and it did fool James Brown a little bit there. He had to scramble across to get back in position. Down the blind side go Featherstone here, and here is Holton. He's not the biggest forward you've ever seen, but physically he's so impressive, having made his move from Swinton Lions. Back with Kopchak now, and Lockwood again. very drastically underrated player at this level, James Lockwood. He's certainly not at Featherstone, though. They know exactly what he's all about. Jones, the man at dummy half. Neil Brown with his hands on the ball for the first time. There's Brad Day. Great to see him back on the field this year after a serious injury the year before. Well, he didn't miss much rugby in the end, did he? It's a loose ball, but it's picked up in the end by Craig Hall. Tries to stab it through. He's pushed back awkwardly there by Logan. And the referee, well, he's going to give the ball to Batley. So not the most polished of first
No,
sets.
not the end you would have wanted to a first set of 6, Matt. But, now Featherstone have got to do it in defence.
Brown brings it forward. I think we can expect him and Craig Kopchak to get a feel for each other during this game.
Definitely.
As Carey comes through from Gledhill, who's reversing his way down the pitch there. Batley doing what they can just to make some headway. Fairly mild night here, I'd say, at Featherstone. Not all too nippy just yet. It was a bit windy earlier on, but we're okay for the time being. Gilmore back to Gledhill once again. You've got 4 men trying to put him to a halt. Lockwood gets the lever and puts him to the floor. Leak darts out. Not the silkiest of passes there, but collected, and Batley will kick, having just advanced into Featherstone's half. Gilmore on the ball, puts it high, and an early test here for Gareth Gale, but takes it comfortably and will try and get on the outside there, but well taken. And Featherstone start within their own 20. 0-0.
Yeah, good set of 6 there from Batley to advance them down the field. Finished it with a kick, and now they'll look to go in the mistake from Featherstone.
Coming down this left edge with Craig Hall, who's got the X factor, hasn't he? He's got the X factor at Super League level. He's certainly got it in the second tier. Again, coming down the short side, Featherstone. We've seen that a couple of times in the opening 3 minutes of this game. He's put on his floor there is Chisholm. Gledhill involved in that tackle. Hall at first receiver. Now Lockwood again running into James Brown. Missed a few games with a hamstring problem. But back on the field today. Brown left-footed, kicks early. It's a bit sliced. It's just, oh no, it hasn't.
No, it's
out
gone out
on the full, according to the touch judge. So that's certainly an early victory for Batley, who will start the set inside Featherstone's half.
Well, again, just an early error there from New Brown has now given Batley some advantage. So it's now where Batley will look to use this ball and gain some momentum from it.
And this is a man to watch out for. Josh Tonks, he's come from Hunslet. He was absolutely brilliant in the victory over Halifax. Didn't play last week. Real explosive fella, can play in the middle, can play back row, and a player that I think Batley will benefit from greatly this year. Here he comes again, taking the ball forward, finds his front eventually. Leak looks to his left, that's where the ball goes. Brown tips it out the back to Gilmore, who runs it to the line himself. Batley on the hunt here. Can the Bulldogs come up with the opening points of the game? It's Leak, crash ball to Brown, the offload to White, thinks about stabbing it through, he's just delayed. The dink looking for Campbell, didn't quite get the weight on it he needed. It was an easy pick up for Blackmore in the end. And now it's just a case of making sure that Featherstone stay in the field of play, which they just about have done. But Batley showing plenty of enthusiasm early doors in this game.
Well, lots of enterprise there, and Batley did ask questions, and a little bit unlucky there that they didn't manage to get him back behind the line. But Featherstone have the ball, and Featherstone will attack up the slope.
Coming forward there with a strong carry as Brown gets on the ball again. Cut out pass wide for Gale. Can he get on the outside here? He's certainly trying to, but not to be on this occasion. But Featherstone showing they're not scared to go down the edges, either side of the pitch. With 5 minutes gone here. Brown again will kick, left-footed, tries to just hoist it over the top. He can't do that, albeit he's fumbled ever so slightly there. Featherstone will bring it forward with Hall, who's put down 12 metres from his own line, and probably what we expected to see so far, Pete.
Yeah, very much so. Like I said, both sets of defences on the front foot, and just the arm wrestle, Matt, is what's happening at this moment in time, you know. And there's no real dominance between the two, but yeah, it's early stages. It's 0-0, but you know, there's both sides showing early encouragement and certainly showing that you know, they're up for this match.
Couldn't agree more. Ben White with that carry for Batley. Next up is Brown, bringing that ball forward. 40 metres off their own line. Gilmore will be the man to kick, hoist it high, and there's a bit of a spiral. It's an awkward one for Craig Hall, but takes it with aplomb and brings it forward, trying to navigate his way through some Batley defenders. Tackled 30 out. Brad Day comes away from dummy half. That's a good scamper, making good 10, 12 metres there for his side. Brown jumps into dummy half, and Bussey will bring it forward. He's tackled on halfway. This has been a good set so far from Featherstone. Direct but effective. Bussey slow to his feet there. Chisholm into Lockwood again, and both sets of forwards already using a lot of energy to try and put their side on top. That's a nice kick over the top from Chisholm. Featherstone haven't been scared to kick early so far, have they, and get the ball into the corners, just trying to win that territory battle. And we talk about defensive efforts. That's a big one from Featherstone Rovers. Brilliant kick chase. They forced a drop out and a repeat set.
Yeah, well, I think the call came in there, you know, for Chisholm to stick it over the top there and just put it between the fullback and the winger, and that's what he did. And you know, that allowed Ben Blackmore to certainly go up and chase, and ultimately Featherstone will get the ball back. Interesting to say, as we said, Matt, in the preamble, you know, the speed around the ruck area, great speed from Brad Day early on in that set of 6 to get Featherstone going forward.
Well, it hasn't turned out to be a bad dropout from Tom Gilmore. It bounced wickedly in front of Brown. Gale will still carry it really well, really well. Brilliant carry from Gareth Gale, and he's got a quick play of the ball, and now Batley are retreating. That's where Connor Jones comes into effect. Gets it to Halton. And Featherstone suddenly making headway up the slope. Here's Kopchak over the 20. Featherstone now in position. But can they come up with point in the opening exchanges here? It's to Chisholm. Over the top. Beautiful ball for Blackmore. Brings it back inside. Looking for a gap. Still venturing. Still raiding. And the end, he is on the wrong end of a massive hit there from Dane Manning. What a shot that was. Brown gets it to Wellham against the grain. He's put down by 4 men. Batley hanging on here. 1 tackle to go for them. 1 more for Featherstone to use. And Kopchak's going for the line. And I think the post padding tackled him there rather than any Batley defender. The Bulldogs survived. They'll take confidence from that. We're still scoreless.
Well, they've got to take confidence from that. They were a great defensive set of 6 for the Batley Bulldogs. And again, you know, we just saw how quick Featherstone can move the ball when they get this play right through Connor Jones, etc. But now they're going to have to defend. And again, they're going to have to soak up some pressure because Batley will come strong down this slope.
Yeah, when Batley played last week and the week before, when they've been up against it, the middles have really got them out of danger with some explosive carries. It's the backs at the minute that are doing the work, but they're not quite being as effective as they'd like to be so far. Here is Brown, who certainly is one of those big men, but he loves an offload as well. Wrapped up well there by Featherstone. Frankie Halton, the man taking him around the ball. Next up is Tonks. Said he can play prop or back row. He's playing loose forward this evening to start with. Leak, a few steps out of dummy half. It hits a man. It's bounced awkwardly. It's become a troublesome kick, this, for Dane Chisholm, who I must say took that wonderfully well because it was bouncing and bobbling horribly for him. But he managed to get both hands on it and keep it cleanly. Well taken. That looked high. Is high. Hand up in acknowledgement there by Johnny Campbell. Another penalty for Featherstone.
Yeah, well, you know, again, just a little bit unlucky there for Batley, giving the penalty away probably at the wrong time. Going back to the kick that came through, it was awkward for Chisholm to take. You know, he had his back to it, then he had to turn round and just make sure where he was going to go to take it. But it is Featherstone that will get us back underway.
That looked forward from Kopchak to Bussey, and that was a bit sloppy from Bussey getting the ball away to Jones. The referee's waved play on, then it comes loose. That was error central there, very uncharacteristic from Featherstone, and Batley gifted the ball back. They did that a few times against Bradford, didn't they, as well, the Rovers, where they'd win a penalty, get themselves in position, and then drop the ball or not complete the set early in the tackle count.
Well, it's a second error so far, Matt, you know, and again, it's something that we spoke about in the build-up to this game, you know, about controlling the errors for both teams. But will they come back and on some later? Who knows? Now, look, Batley will want to take advantage of this, and they're moving the ball very, very quickly now and stepping up the pace, Matt.
Manning with that latest carry. Featherstone fans will remember him. Very consistent player. And to many, it's a mystery how he's never played a prolonged period in the top flight. Batley within 20 then. On the last tackle here. It goes to Gilmore. Crabs across the line. Now White. White with the dink over the top. Again, the weight just not quite right there from Ben White. An easy take for Ben Blackmore. He's not a man you want to let run in because he can do that to you. Great carry back upfield by the winger.
Yeah, he's got some power and he's got some pace in him as Ben Blackmore. And again, you know, he's got the size to brush off any defenders that come near him. But again, now we see an error, and that's going to give Batley the advantage. What can they do with it, Matt?
Have they gone too long with the kick? The chase is on, and it can't be grounded. And in the end, the rules have changed now, so no advantage. It's actually a 7-tackle set for Featherstone, who will, and certainly Brad Day, will be breathing a sigh of relief after that one. Jody Broughton couldn't get that ball down.
He'll want to put it right now, will Brad Day, and he'll be younger. He'll be younger to get some work done, as you say, and yeah, there'll be no more relief than Brad Day, I dare say, at this moment in time.
It's Jones. This carry comes up. Both teams still in this arm wrestle, but chances appearing just slowly for both teams. Well, you have to say at this stage, the best opportunity has gone to the Bulldogs, with Kopczak on the ball, acting as the man navigating the middles around the field there. It's a good strong carry from Lockwood, who's left a marker on the ground in Walshaw. Offload, and it's wide to Holton early. This is the sort of early ball he wants, and that's why. Brilliant break from Holton. Can he get the pass away? It's good. Scrambling last-ditch defence from Batley, but they've got some work to do here because Featherstone are on the prowl. Chisholm back down the blind side to Hall, stabs it through. It's bounced really awkwardly for everyone involved, and in the end, Batley smother the ball right on their own try line, and that showed exactly why Featherstone went out and got Frankie Holton in the off-season. Yeah,
definitely. You know, we spoke about, again, you know, one to watch Frankie Holton, and again, he showed why he's here, and he showed that class that certainly Featherstone wanted to bring him in for. But just going back there, you know, was it a strong finish to the set, Matt? Again, it could have been a little bit better, but it will keep Featherstone in the Batley half, so it is still 0-0, and it's all to play for.
Yeah, I think if you were scrutinising the opening 14 minutes or so of this game, it's been the execution at the end of sets for both teams that's let them down. But this has been a good defensive set from Featherstone. Batley are kicking from their own 20, and by the time Craig Hall takes this ball upfield, Featherstone will be the best part of over halfway. The hands-off Gledhill, look at them spreading it wide again early. Love the confidence of this Featherstone team, and Blackmore's wreaking havoc, and they are indeed on halfway on tackle one.
He is like a wrecking ball when he gets going.
Batley, the Batley contingent, who I believe are below us, weren't happy there, thought that Blackmore moved off the mark. Nothing given. Jack Logan makes the tackle for Craig Lingard's men there. Bussey next up. Put to the floor, but a penalty for a slight tip. And a chance again for Featherstone to have a good set in Batley's half. But can they convert this one into points?
Well, that's the third penalty now that has gone in favour of Featherstone. You know, 2 errors so far from Featherstone, no errors from Batley, as they've been carrying the ball well. But yeah, it's interesting that you know, we've gone, as you said, what, 15 minutes, and you know, neither team has, well, the closest chance going to Batley. But again, it's just finding the momentum. I don't think either team has actually found a rhythm and a momentum yet, Matt. Batley have shown it in signs, Featherstone have shown it in signs. So it'll be interesting to see how this develops.
So what can Featherstone do here? 2 balls on the field, and Jack Logan, to slow things down, very cheekily throws the second ball back to Josh Hardcastle. Kopczak will bring it forward here. They're an off-season signing from Wakefield. Played his entire career in the top flight as Craig Kopczak, and certainly brings plenty of grunt and industry to the Rovers pack. What can they come up with here? It's Chisholm on the reverse to Kopczak. Here is the big man. Too big, too strong. Featherstone are ahead, and it's Craig Kopczak with the try. It's Fev 4, Batley 0.
Well, that's the first try in Featherstone colours for Craig Kopczak, and he will no doubt be delighted with that. And how interested it is, Matt, that it is actually a forward that it's taken to break the deadlock. And again, just simple play, simple speed around the ruck, sees the ball eventually in the hands of Kopczak and him crash over.
A great reverse pass from Chisholm. He looked, the reception there was really impressive. It looked, all ends up he was going out wide, and just on the reverse, good line hit from Craig Kopczak, and poor Elliot Hall. He didn't have much chance of winning the upper body strength battle, did he? Once Kopczak had exposed that Batley line, he did his utmost, the fullback, but Kopczak too big and too strong. I suppose in that way it's like trying to plug the dam with your thumb, isn't it? It's not going to happen. Size of Kopczak as opposed to Elliot, it's just a total mismatch. Indeed. Hall converts 6-0 Featherstone, and I think it's not been the slickest 17-minute period that Featherstone will play this season. I think they'll take that 6-point lead.
I think they've got to be happy with it, considering how it's been. It's been tight. It's been very, very nip and tuck. But for Featherstone to get the points on the board, I think Coach Webster will be the happier of the two.
Here come Featherstone then starting that grind again to get back up the field. But it's a good response from Batley. It's a dominant tackle on James Lockwood, who doesn't often get dominated in a tackle. And there is the try scorer, Kopczak. But again, Batley toughening up here in defence as Bussey takes the next charge. Batley, Freeman in the tackle. Featherstone with Jones. Scampers away. He's always dangerous when those markers aren't alert. They really do have to pay attention to Connor Jones. Chisholm, again, the early kick. This is a tactic we've seen quite a lot in this game, Pete, where Featherstone, before the wingers push back. Now, is that because Batley are reluctant to push the men back because they know how willing Featherstone are to move it out wide?
I think, Matt, in all fairness, if you look at playing at fullback for Featherstone, I think that they maybe have seen that as a bit of a weakness. But another mistake there, and Featherstone have come up with the ball from the spill ball from Batley, and it's into the hands of Holton. So what can Featherstone do here, Matt?
The kicking game's been exceptional, and it's really hard for Hall to get his team on the front foot as a result of that, and then the error comes. So Featherstone on the prowl again here now. Lockwood just carts it forward. Hall's trying to join this left-hand side in back play. Chisholm just rolls it back into the middle with Holton. It's tackled ever so close to that line. And Featherstone looking for quick-fire scores, and it's Kopczak again. Surely not a double for Koppy. Not quite on this occasion. He wasn't far off.
Wasn't. Fingertips.
Jones does a pirouette there. So Hall eventually goes for the early kick. The aerial duel between Gale and Broughton. Oh, beautiful! Oh. Beautiful from Gareth Gale. And Chris Wellham is in for the try in the corner. Brilliant aerial leap from Gareth Gale there. And then the presence of mind to turn and get the offload away. Broughton will maybe feel he could have done more to contest that, but take nothing away from Gareth Gale there. Chris Wellham with the try. It's 10-0.
Well, you've got to look at that, and you've got to say great support play between centre and winger. And the winger leaping high, and he's not the shortest of lads in Gareth Gale when all's said. And to find Wellham, and Wellham with his bags of experience, he knows where the try line is. As soon as he's got it, you know that he's going to go and he's going to put it over the whitewash. Again, Featherstone now, will they blitz Batley with, as they have done in previous games? They go through a 10-15 minute spell, Matt, where they really turn up the heat and dominate, and then will they look to back off, or is it going to be a case of they'll really, really want to keep the pedal to the metal now and build, what could be a big score if they play right?
Yeah, you're right. It's a repeat of a repeat of a repeat, this, isn't it? With Featherstone just not being at the best, and then out of nowhere just turning it on and coming up with 12 points in 3-4 minutes, and it's served them well so far. Conversion unsuccessful there from Craig Hall, but 10-0 to the good. And Batley, I think Batley will be a little bit deflated potentially by that, because they've been more than in this game. They've toughed it out in the middle. They've had some opportunities that they've not been able to take, and I think they'll feel that's a harsh scoreline on them. It's
how they respond now, Matt. You know what I mean? And they've got to find something, and they've got to find a little bit of resolve, and they've got to get down to meet Featherstone and try and keep Featherstone pinned down in this half now, which is what they're doing. Certainly in that first tackle of this set of 6.
They've started sets defensively very strong, haven't they? When they've been in Featherstone's half. Brown comes in. You hear a grunt here. One thing of no crowds is we hear a lot more of the exchanges on the field.
Certainly do.
Some of them pleasant, some of them comical, some of them unsavoury. It's all part of this behind closed doors experience, and a penalty to Batley.
First one of the game to Batley, that, Matt.
Which I can only assume was for stepping off the mark. I didn't see any indiscretion on first viewing, I must say. Jack Smith, our referee this evening. So, Batley with a chance to respond to those quick-fire tries.
Well, they've got to do something now, Matt. They've really got to dig deep and find something, in the locker to turn this advantage.
Here comes the run, and it's Elliot Hall, and Elliot Hall scrambled free. What an effort that is from Elliot Hall, deputising at fullback without Luke Cooley, and I think he's wriggled out of the grasp of Jack Bussey there. Brilliant from the slight man, and Batley are back in it.
Well, as we were saying there, Matt, that they needed to come up with something, and it is that man Elliot Hall, and that's I think that's the third game now that he's played here at this ground that he's actually scored, a try. So he must like coming here, he must like scoring against Featherstone, and that one was a great try for him to take and touch down. As you say, was it slow defence? Was it a bit of switching off from Featherstone, or was he in the right place at the right time?
Just watching it there, Gareth Gale shot out of the line. He did really well to evade him. Then he stepped inside Brad Day, and then Bussey had got hold of him. And when Jack Bussey gets hold of someone, he normally keeps hold of them. But Elliot Hall just managed to squirm free and get that try, and he'll be delighted with that. I'm sure Jack Bussey might get a dig in the ribs for that one from some of his teammates after the game. Gilmore converts, so 10-6. And we talked about the response of Batley and that it needed to be strong, it needed to be good. Well, they answered that one with a big tick in the box, I'd argue, Pete.
Definitely. And, you can't take anything away from Batley there. Did exactly what the coach would have been wanting from them, and did exactly, as we called it, that they needed to find something just so that they weren't in danger of being overrun. They'll get the ball back off the kick-off when Hall decides to get us back underway. But it's now how they respond. Can they go back-to-back, Matt? Which is no doubt what their head coach, Craig Lingard, will be demanding.
Just seen James Lockwood has come off, and James Harrison comes on the field. I'm a big fan of James Harrison, whose dad Carl is actually here tonight on media duty, and he is it's Ward, with a big carry. James Harrison, I'm a big fan of his, Pete. You'll have seen a lot more of him than I have, but he looks like a star.
Well, I know both of them fairly well, he's certainly class, is James, and big future in the game. Very, very big future.
Only 24. Plenty of time on his side. We'll have Super League aspirations. We'll have Super League aspirations with Featherstone, of course. Turned down at least one offer for him in the off-season. The club, which shows their intent for the year. Batley come forward now with Leake, the man at dummy half, and this time it's Gilmore with the boot. Maybe not quite got the depth on that one he wanted. Gale collects it, and again, he's not a man you want to give space to run, but the chase was fairly good this time from Batley. Featherstone start inside their own 30 as Blackmore comes away once again. 10-6, and anyone who was thinking that this might be one-sided, well, everything we've seen so far would suggest that isn't going to be the case. It's been a really good contest between two good teams, and it shouldn't come as a surprise, as Batley did, of course, push Featherstone last week. 30-22, that one finished. Next up is Harrison. Straight into Everett, who's come on the field for the Bulldogs. Two number 10s up against each other. Last tackle then, Jones will feed it to Chisholm. They're going to run this, they are. It comes to Blackmore, he's the man who kicks in field. I'm not sure I've ever seen Ben Blackmore kick a ball before, but first time for everything, and now Neil Brown gets involved. It's a good tackle in the end from Logan on Hardcastle to end that. Not sure if that was a planned play. It just seems again that those last plays aren't quite been executed.
I think there, Matt, there was a little bit of panic that set in there, and I don't think it was so much of a kick, but more of a slice that we saw from Ben Blackmore.
Probably I've never seen him kick before.
No, neither have I. I can't recall when I've seen him kick anyway. But here's now Batley bringing the ball down the slope with a guy who I think makes a real difference when he comes on, Michael Ward.
Yeah, good player. And they're coming into the attack with some pace there. It was Hall who really put the afterburners on to join the line. With Batley raiding that left edge. Now it's Ward, and quick tip on to Everett, who clambers to his feet. Ward, known for his talent at carrying the ball in, but he's shown some silky hands there. The Batley players weren't happy with that challenge on Jack Logan from Chisholm, and a bit of afters. Chisholm patting him on the head, which, well, it's all part of the game, isn't it? It's all part of the fun, but Jack Logan did not like that tackle as Gale collects the high kick. We'll keep an eye out on that one.
Yeah,
Pete,
that one will. Yeah, well, we know, don't we, that Chizzy likes to play devil's advocate now and again, but yeah, that one could simmer. So one to keep your eye on, as you say, as Wellham takes the Featherstone Rovers forward up to, I think, just short of their 30-metre line.
Junior Moores has come on the field, by the way. He's come on for Craig Kopchak, who Junior Moores had that awful injury, but he was one of Super League's most destructive forwards for a couple of years, back 2016, 2017. And Batley struggling to put him to the floor here on this occasion. Last tackle then, Jones into Chisholm. High hanging kick. Tester for Hall. Again, he passes it. Brings it away. Brad Day. Chris Wellham made the tackle. 10-6 as we close in on half-time.
Again, big raps for Elliot Hall, and now Featherstone concede a penalty for being offside. But yeah, big raps for Elliot Hall. He took that well under the lights and managed to scamper away. So yeah, and now Batley will gain further advantage by being given this penalty, Matt.
And Gilmore will kick them over to halfway. And definitely a chance for them to have another crack at the line. Maybe slightly overplaying there, Batley, but good to see the forward men, Manning and Ward, both willing to carry that ball. Ward stayed down there. Don't know if he took a whack that I didn't see. White direct to the line there. He showed that he can run with the ball rather than just pass as Leake, the little scamper. Not sure if that was meant for Walshaw or for Logan, but it was the towering forward who took it. Batley 30 out, looks like Ward's okay as Leake waits at dummy half. Now White crabs across, Gilmore runs it himself, and Batley just starting to come to life here in attack. Closing in on the end of this set. Everett brings it forward, powering those legs and puts to the floor 10 out. Batley looking for a second try here. Will find its way to White. Now Gilmore, they're going to spread it to Hall. He's already done damage once, gets his arm free. Gilmore dinks it over the top, looking for Buchanan. He's got to the ball. Batley keeping it alive. Hall again. What can they come up with here? He's going to have to take the tackle in the end. Again, not the most polished end of set for the Bulldogs.
I think there, Matt, you saw some great pressure build there by Batley, but unfortunately not able to capitalise on it. Would they have been better, bringing it and keeping it in a more central channel and trying to run, it closer to the sticks rather than trying to get on the edges? But now we see a penalty in Featherstone's favour, so all the hard work that Batley did, and it just comes undone there by being caught offside.
Yep, and now Featherstone, straight up the other end of the field, looking for a score. And again, they'll start on halfway. About 9 minutes left of this first half. Hardcastle taking it in, one of many local lads in this team, which is always great to see, what the fans always want to see. Holton with the next charge forward. Jones, the man waiting at dummy half. Moores to Brown. They favoured predominantly this left edge, Featherstone. Haven't gone to the right as often. They did get a try down that side, and they go down the short side. Brown taking it forward. He was excellent last week. That's a silky offload. Harrison rides the challenge of Ward. Moores, he's hard to put down. The best of times, he's got an offload away. The referee says no scrubbing of the tackle count, and eventually Bussey just gives them some direction with that drive forward. Now Chisholm kicks through, another awkward one for Hall. That bounced awkwardly in front of him, just died, but he managed to take it really well in the end.
It seemed to sit there, didn't it, in a little bit of a divot of the ground, if anything, Matt. But again, well read by Elliot Hall. Going back to what you were saying about Josh Hardcastle, I think this is his 97th appearance for Featherstone. So
brilliant. And he was brought in as an unknown, really.
Yeah.
Certainly outside of Featherstone, but it was quickly apparent. I seem to recall he scored a hatful of tries very early doors in his Featherstone career, and he's never looked back, and he's one of the first names on the team sheet now. It's Gilmore kicks long. It's a good kick from, it's a really good kick from Tom Gilmore, and Ben Blackmore will bring it forward. And that was a relieving kick from Tom Gilmore. He split Blackmore and Hall. And rather than probably start near halfway, Featherstone are on their own 30. Still 10-6. And the arm wrestle, normally you see a side crack, don't you? But we've not really seen that here. As Holton comes forward again. I've been really impressed with particularly Batley being managed to stick in this arm wrestle for so long.
It's just getting a bit niggly, Matt. We're seeing sort of like just a little bit of afters and not clearing the ruck as quick as what we'd like to see. But yeah, it's certainly the arm wrestle's continued, hasn't it?
It has, but they look dangerous down the edge here. Wellham, he's a man who can score a try. As we know from his career, he's wrapped up 12 out there. Last tackle for the Rovers. It comes to Brown. Managed to find Chisholm, stabbed through, delicate kick. Holton's the man chasing it. Can he ground it? Yes, he can. And Frankie Holton notches another try for Featherstone Rovers. Showed real composure there to just bat that ball forward with his right foot and then ground it cleanly while it was bobbling along. And Featherstone have a 14-6 lead.
Well, in all fairness, Matt, in all fairness, Matt, I know that Wakefield Football Club play here, and I think that if their coach or their management team's been watching, Frankie Holland might be getting a call for his dribbling skills as he hacked that one forward. But again, it just shows, you can't switch off in this game. You've got to remain focused, and the smallest. The smallest lapse in concentration allows your opponent to take that advantage. And there, Featherstone, full credit, took advantage and managed to, get over and add another 4 points. And Frankie Alton, get a try. And he's missed that kick, hasn't he?
Yep, only one from 3 from the boot tonight from Craig Hall, who shakes his head in disappointment. Would have backed him to kick that one, but Frankie Holton, we spoke a little bit about him. He is a talent. There's no doubt in that. Looks like a real player. Another one who Swinton obviously picked up. They've done an exceptional job of bringing through a lot of players from the amateur game and developing them into real quality stars at this level, at a higher level, of course, in Matty Ashton. And really doing a good job down at Swinton in that regard. And here's Luke Cooper, just come on for Jack Bussey, and that's his first involvement. I thought he'd decimated poor Brandon Pickersgill in that Challenge Cup first round.
How did Pickersgill get up from that tackle?
I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea.
And you could hear it crunch, as well. That was the thing, Matt. It did, and it was a crunch.
That's why I don't play rugby league. Junior Moors comes forward. Get him on side. I haven't heard that for a long time.
No, that takes me back.
I know. I wonder how long it'll take once the fans are back in. First set, probably.
He won it first calls, Matt.
Definitely. Get off his head.
Well, a bit of sloppiness coming in from Featherstone's play here. I mean, they're still in possession and they're still managing to go forward. It is the last tackle, but the ball will go into the hands of Chisholm. He shots that shoulder,
beautiful.
Goes for a kick.
Beautiful from Chisholm. Gets the ball away to Harrison, but he juggled it and couldn't quite keep hold of it. And Batley survived. That was nearly a 4 for Fev.
Well, yeah, we just saw there how dangerous Dane Chisholm can be when he decides to drop that shoulder and step and go and show that burst of pace that he does have in his locker. And again, supporting there from that man James Harrison. If he'd have taken that cleanly, that would have been a great try. But it is.
Good hit from Cooper there. I think that was that on Logan? No, it wasn't Logan.
Elliot, wasn't it?
On no, I think was it Flynn who's just come onto the
field.
It
might be Flynn, yeah.
It was a brutal hit from Luke Cooper. You don't realise how often he manages to do that on the quiet. Here's Ben White delaying his kick there. The pressure from Featherstone not quite as fierce as it could always be. Craig Hall will bring it away. And that's a good hit from Logan on Hall. He hasn't quite been able to get his own back on Dane Chisholm yet, but I'm sure he'll find a time and a place. As Blackmore again, he's done some good work in back players. Ben Blackmore for Featherstone early doors. He's tried to buy a penalty. He's got a big grin on his face, which probably suggests that he knows he'd tried to steal one there.
He's also a part-time choir boy as well, is Ben Blackmore, allegedly. So
I don't know that inside joke, I'm afraid. Jones to Chisholm inside. Oh, he tried to find Blackmore with that pass over the top. Campbell went for it. His eyes lit up. He just couldn't quite keep it in play. I think if Johnny Campbell had got hold of that, that was sayonara.
Yeah.
That was try time, Batley.
It would have gone with Johnny Campbell because he's a no slow coach, is he? Would it have been as spectacular as a try that he got in the Challenge Cup? We'd have had to wait and see. But yeah, I think again Featherstone have been lucky now, and they really, really have got to try and see what they can do. Craig all to the fore as ever.
Harrison will take the tackle as is instructed to from somewhere below us. Featherstone 25 metres out, leading by 8 points at the minute. And here's Brown showing that he can run with the ball too. Brilliant from New Brown. And that's why they paid the big bucks to get him over. The former NRL star steps through, skies through the defence, and Featherstone do indeed have a fourth before the break. It's 18-6. That is silky from New Brown.
Well, that just shows again, the danger of the man. And let's put things into perspective, Matt. It's his fifth game of rugby in England. He's come back after a lengthy injury. He's finding his face. He's certainly no slow coach, and he's certainly got some pace on him, and he's got some size on him as well. So again, it just shows you, doesn't it, that if the gaps appear, he's going to go. Just
eased his way in, hasn't he? He quiet the first few games in the pre-season games. Hadn't quite found his feet by the Bradford game, but he stepped up last week, and that was all class.
Well, it may be as well, that he scored his try against Batley. He did get the get the man of the match as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
So he must enjoy playing against Batley. He must feel comfortable, Matt, if anything.
And he made, of all people, Dane Manning. It was Dane Manning who just slightly overread that play. And not many people do that to Dane Manning. As we've said, great player. But Brown just got on his inside shoulder there.
We spoke about you know, the spells, Matt. You know, and I know it's the first league fixture of the season as Hall misses that one again. It's a good job you've no money on Craig kicking goals tonight, isn't it?
I know. You'd be smashing the TV up, wouldn't you?
Definitely.
1 from 4. And it does mean that Batley are, technically speaking, only 2 tries behind at the break. But nevertheless, Featherstone in control at half-time. They lead 18 points to 6. Pete, overall, what's your half-time assessment?
Well, I think the score is pretty reflective of how the game's gone. You know, we've had three spells where Featherstone have been able to capitalise on errors and mistakes from Batley. Batley have stayed in it. You know, they've not given up the ghost, just as we expected them to do. The penalty count in favour of Featherstone. You know, 4 penalties to 2 errors. Basically, again, Featherstone made 2 errors and stuff like that in that first half. But it's all about consistency and finding that rhythm. Neither team has found the rhythm yet and being able to go back to back. But I certainly feel, Matt, that you know, it's not over yet, and I think there's plenty more in it. 18-6. All right, the scoreline might just slightly flatter Featherstone in this first period, but by no means is it over, and it's a lot closer contest, Matt, than the scoreline suggests.
Yeah, certainly looking forward to the second half, but before that, let's take a look at some of the action from the first half, and it was Featherstone with it. This was a beautiful try. The take from Gale is tremendous, and then the offload equally as good to back that into the path of Chris Wellham, and that was a try that put them in control. And this was a big opportunity for Batley, and Jody Broughton, he scored a lot of tries in his career, and he'd have backed himself to score from that one, and he just couldn't quite get that ball down. But they did in the end get on the scoreboard. The Bulldogs through Elliot Hall, a brilliant jinking run, and out there just to get away from Jack Bussey. That takes some doing. He'll be really pleased with that one. And Featherstone, they would come back with a bang, and it was Frankie Holton with the score, and showing some skills with the boot there to dab that forward. And this try, it came after one of those plays again where it had been a bit disjointed from Featherstone, not quite always got the passes landing on the mark, but when they've got players like this man who can do that, you can afford to be disjointed at times. That's just skill.
Well, that's got to be the best try of the first half, Matt. You know, and again, as you say, it's down to skill and strength in it that took it. The Chris Wellham try was great, but if you were looking at you know, overall, then the try of New Browns has got to be up there.
And that was the opening try, obviously, from Craig Kopchak that put Featherstone ahead, and that's what we saw from this first half. 18 points to 6 at the break. Showing this Gale score again just because it was that good. I say it's the Gale score. It's a Wellham score, but Gale deserves all
Gale made
credit.
it, didn't he?
He did. So, yeah, 18-6 at the break. If you're inside the 2 sheds at the minute, what's your perspective? What would you be saying to the respective teams?
I would be, if I was in the Featherstone shed, I'd be saying, let's look at keeping the ball, let's look at cutting out the errors, and certainly finishing the sets of 6 in a good kicking position or a good field position, so that we can look to ask questions at the Batley defence. If it was in the Batley shed, it would be, you know, let's keep doing what we're doing, let's keep working it down, and they seem to work well down this middle channel. You know, their pack and their middles really do seem tight and mobile and very, very quick. Also, I'd like to see Batley then trying to push it to some of the faster men that they've got on the edges. You know, you've got Johnny Campbell, and you know, we know that he can run, and Jody Broughton again, you know, he's got pace, so why not utilise it? Or will they look at thinking, right, well, Can we get the faster lads on it from a bit of a broken play? Is that the chance that Batley are looking for? So I'd be saying, as in the Batley sheds, look guys, keep at it. You know, let's keep working. Let's keep working hard as a team. Let's cut out any errors that we can get, and certainly let's ask some questions now of this Featherstone defence.
Indeed. 18-6 at the break. We're going to have a very short break here, but in the meantime, take a look at this. A bit of a special for you, Our League viewers. We know you like watching your rugby league. Well, there's a World Cup coming up at the end of the year, and you don't want to miss out on this offer.
So far, so good for Rovers. But will that dam burst? Surely on the far side, lovely little dummy, and through on his own, it's Dale Morton to give Batley the lead.
Fantastic try there. That's persistence, patience.
Develops 11 minutes in, live on the Sportsman.
Oh, great
on a
great
brilliant scamper. That will do from Connor Jones.
Really dangerous out of there, he is. Here he has Chisholm now.
Great injection this to set up an excellent opportunity for Featherstone to hit right back.
Fifth and last tackle now, Chisholm in charge.
He'll be yelling for it. What will he do with that wand of a boot? No, he just keeps the ball moving. And they're going to give it a bit of air and run it down the side. Oh, look at the gap to charge through. Frankie Holton. It just opened up for him. And Rovers are in. Well, that will calm Featherstone. And here they come. And the gap's starting to open up for them. It did take them, as Leon said, a while to get going, but that's really settled them down, and now they fancy backing it up with another. And here's a man who could do it for them. It was Brown on the charge, straightening up.
Yeah, and attack this right side again with Brown, because this is where the susceptible areas are Batley on this.
Well, it's the last tackle, sorry Leon, and they ran it last time. Chisholm, will he run it again? Gives the ball a bit of air, and they run it down the left-hand side and score again. Absolutely brilliant on the last from Featherstone Rovers, and how about that to turn things round? Jones again. Oh, lovely little dance through for Brown on his own. He's over the line. Is the try awarded? It is. He said, I'll go all the way through, and Famanu Brown makes it 3 tries unanswered, and Rovers are running riot.
Lovely, lovely finish here from Brown. He's just got a lovely right foot step. He's terrorising this right-hand side. Kieran Buchanan, who's defending, I think, at back row 3, and he's having a really difficult time at the moment. And Brown's taking advantage of it. Right foot step, goes through the line, left foot step, takes on the full back and just gets over the line. Too big, too strong. And that's what you want.
Well, Batley finally have a feel of the football after those 3 unanswered tries, but there's no point having the ball in your hands if that's where you've got to play with it. Oh, and they've knocked on right on their own line. It's going to be another score. They offload and Wellham in the corner, and the Batley Bulldogs are self-destructing.
A lovely offload from Brown again. He picked it up off his bootlaces, flicked the ball out to Gareth Gale, who has a nice little stroll. It don't get any easier than that for the winger. Picks it up off his toes. Fantastic catch. Amazing offload. Oh, sorry, it's Wellham that finishes in the corner. He won't get an easier finish than that.
Retained. Couple of tackles to go. This is the 4th. Alistair Leake is on from dummy half. Made his 150th appearance in a previous round, and that's a bad error. And it could be a 4-point error or worse, because Batley are going to win the chase. And that's a gift of a try right back, and the Bulldogs needed that. Boy, did they.
Absolutely, George.
Another one before half-time, could they? Well, that will help.
Yeah, they'll take the 2, I think, just before half-time, George. That's what I'd do. I think they'll take the 2 because the half-time whistle could go at any second, so.
But it needs to go over. Morton. Oh, he struck it low. It's an ugly kick, but it just about goes over. Morton, try score already. Walshaw hungry for one of his own. Twice he's come close. He can almost sniff the grass over the line there. Leak comes all the way back to White. Now the angles
Oh,
are
what a
looking
ball!
good. Hooray! Left of the post and Batley hit back. They deserve it and they're poised to draw level. Right in front. Will Leak go on his own? Dummy half, it's the last. Will he try and burrow over? No. They try and find the man on the far side. Oh, he kicks it forward. He's going to score. That's unbelievable. He knocks it down. Instinctively puts the kick on the ball.
Johnny Campbell.
Johnny Campbell has scored the most baffling try you will ever see, and Batley lead Featherstone at Post Office Road.
It's unbelievable. He's caught it and kicked it mid-air. He's made it.
Brown, the dummy half, back to Harrison, stretching his Chisholm. This is more like it from Featherstone Rovers. It's the last though. Parata to Chisholm. What's he got in his box of tricks? He's going to have to find something. The offload off the left ball. They keep the ball alive. Great pick of Harrison. Wow. Brilliant from Featherstone. It looked like they'd run into a cul-de-sac. And across Betfred's YouTube and Facebook, a place in round 3 of Rugby League's iconic cup competition at stake as Kopchak goes through and gives it to Harrison. He's got Parata on his shoulder, who pins back his ears. Can he get to the line? He won't be caught. Look at the toes from Parata, and Featherstone hit the front.
And that's where
Brings to an end a remarkable afternoon of Rugby League, which went back and forth both ways. Batley showed real grit and spirit and enterprise to seize the initiative second half. But just one mini spell off the back of back-to-back penalties from Batley gave Featherstone the chance to nudge ahead again, and Chisholm and Parata combined to really get themselves out of jail and win this contest and reach the Betfred Challenge Cup third.
Evening everybody, welcome back to the Millennium Stadium for second half coverage of Featherstone Rovers and Batley Bulldogs. 18-6 to Rovers at the break. They'll go down the slope in the second half, just awaiting the Bulldogs, who are coming back on the field now. Temperature's dropped a little bit, Pete, but we're in good spirits. We're happy and looking forward to another 40 minutes here.
Well, he certainly has, and I'm thinking of putting a request to the Featherstone ground staff here to have some central heating put in for when we next come back here, Matt. But, you know, both teams are out on the park now. As you say, Featherstone will play down the slope towards the terraced houses at the post office road end of this famous old ground, the Millennium Stadium. Again, Matt, now, you know, it goes back to what we said right at the start. You know, it's who's going to settle quickly, who's going to get the rhythm, and who's going to, you know, be able to build some momentum here to put this game to bed.
For sure. Of course, there are no Featherstone fans I can report behind the fence this week. I know the club has kindly asked the supporters not to do that, although I must say it was great to see the endeavour and efforts of the fans to come and watch their team, even if it did get the club in trouble to a degree. We're underway as Johnny Campbell brings it back for.
I've just picking up on a point there, Matt. You know, it is fairly dark down in that bottom corner. You know, where the floodlights are. So is that something that Featherstone will look to utilise maybe?
It's I'm just watching it on our cameras, and it's incredibly dark. I hope there's no tries in that corner because we won't be able to tell what's going on. We've got a set restart here for Batley. Manning comes into play. Another one who missed both pre-season games and both Challenge Cup games for Batley, but back in the team set. I'm told on the grapevine that he got an injury while trying to stop someone sledging down a hill, tried to slow them down and picked up, I think, if my memory serves correct, he ended up dislocating his shoulder in the process. I'd love to tell you I'm joking, but honestly, that is a true story, I'm told.
Well, I've got to say, Matt, it's something similar to what I heard. I heard that he'd taken a tumble whilst he was on a sledge, but
different, slightly different, but similar. Something to do with a sledge.
We'll leave it at that, I think. Yeah. We'll leave it at that. Featherstone have possession. The ball is in the hands of Frankie Holton, and they'll look to go at this Batley line, Matt, and it's now or never, really, isn't it? You know, they need either team needs a score.
Next score crucial. It's a cliche, I know, but when there's two scores in it, that's normally the case. The next one will decide whether it's a blowout or if it's a contest, as Brad Day runs hard there. Such a difficult man to put to the floor.
Although he's had a quiet game, we've not seen him coming into the line as much as he normally does. You know, I'd like to see him running again and get him running off Chisholm, which was so effective 2 seasons ago.
Harrison can't sit forward. Fev looking for an early score here. Moores to Chisholm. Go out the back. It's down to Blackmore. His performance deserves a score, but he's actually going to be bundled out of play there. And good right edge defence from Batley. Never really looked on for Featherstone down there as he tried to raid it, though.
No, I think they certainly run out of space over there as they move the ball towards Blackmore. And the only option really was for him to go into touch, wasn't it? So great defence from Batley, great line speed from Batley to force Featherstone over to that line.
Here comes Batley's chance to move upfield with Everett, the first ball carrier. I think what we can say about Batley, on the evidence we've seen in this game and the previous games, anyone who thinks that they're going to be a steady away walkover team is going to be very badly mistaken.
They certainly are. There's a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of vigour there. You know, when they do carry the ball forward. I'm impressed with that Everett. He's a big unit, isn't he? He's a big old lad, and you know, I reckon that when we get some drier tracks, Matt, you know, he's certainly going to be one that flies. And certainly at Batley, coming down that slope, you get him steaming onto the ball.
Well, let's say this, Pete. I wouldn't want him to run at me. Very safe.
I'd make sure I'm stood behind you, Matt.
Trust me. I would not allow that. Featherstone bring it forward through Gale. One-handed pick up there from Blackmore. Oh, that was a hit from Everett. Third man.
Cruncher.
Ben Blackmore will have felt that one. He's carried really well as Ben Blackmore today, but he was on the receiving end of a big hit there. As Wellham takes the next carry. Hall brings it over halfway. Not seen Parati yet. He'll come on in the next 5-10 minutes, I think.
Yeah, well, I think that may be something that's needed, Matt, because I'm just looking again, and we spoke about Connor Jones making the runs around the ruck area, and it's something that he's just not doing at this moment. You know, he's happy to be in there at the pivot and play it out.
Look, well, Elliot Hall, he didn't want to be pushed back over his own line there, did he? So
I think there's a big worm in grass down there that trips people up.
Yeah, he hit a divot. Give him the benefit of the doubt. As Batley take it over the 10. Campbell coming off that right wing to do some work down the middle here. Steps 1, steps 2, still going. Put to the floor. Brown involved in that tackle. Now Leake. Nice quick yards there with the markers not set. But they've not really made the meters they'd have liked there. Batley. It's not a bad kick in the end from Ben White. In fact, it's a very good kick because he split the 2 men at the back. And Hall will bringing it away. Here is Hardcastle, strong man, and eventually put on the deck by 2.
You don't realise looking at Josh Hardcastle just just how solid he is and the strength that he's got, and that can be quite confusing to opponents. When they look at him and they think, oh, it's just a thin rake.
No, I think he's a great player. And this is another man who's not too bad either.
No.
Gareth Gale. He's so hard to put down. He's really awkward to tackle as Holton comes forward again on one of those direct runs of his. Looking to put a play on down the right here of Featherstone. They've certainly got the numbers as Brown brings it. Now Hall. This is silky.
Oh,
this is very good. This is very good. This is beautiful. This is brilliant from Featherstone Rovers. And Gareth Gale finishes off an absolute corker from the Rovers, and that's why they are one of the title favourites. Brilliant try, Featherstone. It's 22-6.
Well, Matt, when you can go from, to scoring a try from virtually nothing when nothing seemed on, and you called it right, Matt, in play, they got set. Hard work again by certainly a man of the match contender, Frankie Holton at this stage. He set the play up, managed to get the position. Chisholm called the shot, asked for, the runners, and then the cut-out pass to Brown, and then obviously the move came on, finished off by Gareth Gale there. And again, as all wingers seem to do these days, was it a swan dive or was he on a trapeze? I don't know. You tell us, Matt. You tell us.
Well, normally I call them show-offs because they don't need to do it, but I do think Gareth Gale needed to take flight there just to make sure he wasn't barged out in the corner. And can Craig Hall land this conversion? Not had much luck with the boot, and it couldn't be much harder really for a right footer. And again, he's just tagged it wide.
Has he missed that one?
He has. 22-6. It remains.
Well, the question's got to be asked, Matt. There is a plethora of kickers within the Featherstone outfit. Do you look to swap it? Do you bring in Chisholm? Do you bring in Brown can kick? Even Ben Bladmore we've seen kicking tonight. So anything's possible.
Who knows? Who knows?
Anything's possible.
But, well, I'm sure he won't be giving up the duties in a hurry.
No.
He's had a few toughies in fairness. There's probably only one where you would have expected him to get it and didn't. That one on the left-hand side, I think it was Frankie Holton's try. Not to be. 22-6, and that'll just ease any nerves that Featherstone did add. Got a commanding lead now.
Well, it'll allow him now, Matt, to settle and then allow him to build we keep mentioning this word, momentum, and hopefully it'll allow him to build momentum. But we see a mistake there, an uncharacteristic mistake from James Harrison, and he realised straight away that he'd not played the ball correctly. So Featherstone Featherstone will not be happy with that, but Batley will be delighted because they're going to get possession.
I'll get a telling off from his dad after the game.
Yeah.
As we said, down below us. He's a character, he's Carl Harrison, of course. Never seen a man work a room better when trying to get a beer bought. Brilliant storyteller, though, is Carl Harrison, really is. Batley coming forward now. With Everett, man who's caught your eye, Pete.
Yeah, he's been good. He's strong carry again, Matt. Just going back to Harrison Senior, Harrison Junior. He used to pay James £1 a try. So I don't think they'll have that still going on though these days, will they?
I wouldn't think so. He scores too many for a front rower. He probably thought it won't cost him anything, Carl. Dane Manning comes forward. Batley now. This is a big moment for the Bulldogs. If they can score here, They're back in the game. Can they come up with the plates? With Gilmore, hoists it up. Who'll come down with this ball? It's Hardcastle. Batley have managed to force him over the line. Yes, they have. It's a good second effort there from Batley. They forced the dropout, and another opportunity for the Bulldogs to try and get those points they need to get back in this contest.
Well, it's a dropout for, that Batley will greatly receive. They look to get the points, but none forthcoming. Hardcastle took the ball. Lucas Walshaw in there to the foremost, making sure that Batley gets something back.
Bit of a slice on that dropout. It turns out to be an awkward one for Jack Logan.
Oh, how unlucky is that? How unlucky is that, Matt? It's the old adage there, isn't it? Never let the ball bounce.
A nightmare at Millennium Stadium for Jack Logan there. Yeah, I don't think he could have got to that ball because it didn't have high trajectory on it whatsoever, and it just bobbled and trickled and did everything you don't want a rugby league ball to do, and it, unfortunately for him, caught him off guard, and it's just the easy meters for Featherstone upfield. That's a real blow. Real blow for Batley as Everett. He came hunting. He didn't end up getting the prey being Luke Cooper on this occasion. I would have liked to see those two men come together because that would have been a FUD.
It'd have been an earthquake. It would have been an earthquake. And I think Luke Cooper spotted him out of the corner of his eye and just managed to step at the right time to say, no, you're not having me.
The gantry had trembled, let's say that, as Junior Moores comes into play, running that ball straight between a couple of defenders, brought to the floor. Gets to his feet. Batley just looked like they're tiring ever so slightly here as Harrison gets his hands on the ball. Again, not the cleanest of passes from Chisholm, but picked up. And Featherstone now looking for another score. Here is Brown. Oh, he's going to run it again. Oh, he's dangerous. He's got the ball away to Moores as well. He's trying to smuggle it free, and he did, but Buchanan. Good read there from Kieran Buchanan, who's had a quiet night on the whole, but he did really well there to get in the way of Moores and pick up that ball.
Yeah, what we're interested in there, Matt, was the fact that they knew it was fifth and last, and Moores unfortunately didn't have anywhere to go with it, did he? So Batley's defence effort again was fantastic there. That's now seen them in possession and makes some small advantage up the park.
Toby Everett is, I want to say running off, but he's almost crawling off the field. He looks absolutely exhausted as he comes off. Josh Tonks on in his place. It looks like James Brown's preparing to come back on as well in the not so distant future. Leak prods that forward. It's a bit of a nothing kick though, really, from Leak. Although that one bobbled awkwardly for Hall. He managed to thrust the ball upwards to cause any embarrassment. Again, a few soccer skills, I think, there, Matt, if anything. Yeah, neat first touch as well. Yeah. Takes it forward for Fev, giving some of the forwards a break. Now Brad Day, powerful runner. That's better from Featherstone, certainly better from the second rower there, doing what he does best. Junior Moores again. He's not done anything too flashy, has he? But he's done a lot of work for Fev and shown that he's a hard man to stop. Just poked through from Hall. The chase is on into that bottom corner. It's another early kick. I think that's going to go all the way, yeah. The only problem with kicking into that corner, because of the slope, it tends to just, you've got to wait it so... Yeah, it's going to carry away from you. If it isn't right and it's not that delicate, touch on it, it is going to run away from you. But the idea was right. The enterprise showed there by Craig Hall to kick to that corner, but just unfortunately, as you say, too much on it. Another early kick, wasn't it? Yeah. Very much so. Tactically, I've seen a lot from Featherstone in this game as Buchanan comes forward. Brown on the ball here. Puts the bumpers up, but Brown did well to get underneath the ball and start the process of that tackle. Leak spins it out to Gilmore. Now it's with White. Hall joins the line again, and he almost got out of the clutches of Dane Chisholm there. He's not the biggest bloke, but he seems very difficult to get hold of, or maybe more pressingly, keep hold of. Well, it's interesting there, watching Batley as they go up the park. I mean, I know they've still got possession here. I'll see how this pans out, Matt. Well, Brown was try to get the offload away there, couldn't do so. We've got one more tackle here. Come to Gilmore. We're going to go for a little chip over the top. You don't see the chip and chase very often. Oh, it nearly came off for Tom Gilmore. That would have been old school, spectacular rugby league.
It certainly would. It would have been typical old school scrum half play, wouldn't it? We do see Dean Parata come into the fray now. But going back to what I was saying, when Batley had the possession, they called for Elliot Hall 2 plays before he actually received the ball. So that must be something that they've worked on the training ground, Matt.
Yep. Keep an eye on that in the next 25 minutes or so. It's Featherstone on the attack for the time being.
Here we go.
Creeping forward, here he is.
Yeah, again, Matt, you know, like we say, that injection from that ruck area, and you saw Parata, and there's nobody does that better than him.
Here's another early kick. Chisholm might be thinking this is a 40-20. It was ever so close to that 40 line. It didn't bounce correctly for him on that occasion, so the bounce of the ball for Batley on those 2 kicks have been favourable, albeit it wasn't from the dropout, was it? So it's probably evens itself up.
Well, when you kick through like that, there's no, you know, you wouldn't want it to go to anybody else, you know, rather than it go to Elliot Hall, because he is a danger and a threat. So well recovered there by Hall, and you know, it's managed to keep things ticking over for his Batley teammates.
Brown up onto his feet into Dane Manning. Really good tackle down low from Neil Brown there.
There's a little bit of afters there between Wellham and Manning, just saying hello to one another.
Yeah,
do you think he was asking him what aftershave he's got on?
Exchanging pleasantries, asking for each of the dress for Christmas cards later in the year, perhaps.
Definitely.
Gilmore, left boot again. It's another good kick from Tom Gilmore. He's managed to get the ball between Blackmore and Hall on quite a couple of occasions.
Do you think he spotted there that how far away Hall was? Because he did actually have to turn Hall round, didn't he? So, yeah, great kick there from Gilmore, as you say.
There looks to be space here. Craig Hall with the weaving run finds Chisholm, but it's given forward.
Unlucky there.
It looked like danger the minute Craig Hall got hold of that ball. I must admit, the pass did look forward.
Yeah, bit of a groan there. And when we say unlucky, you know, it's not purely because Dane Chisholm would have been aware. He'd shown his skills and his pace to the fore there. But you know, it's just a little bit unlucky for Featherstone. But again, you know, Batley there, ready to go and ready to ask some more questions of this Featherstone defence. It does remain 22-6 with about 22
to go, roughly.
Yeah, about 22 minutes to go, yeah.
They're not out of this yet, Batley.
No. And another penalty there, isn't it, to Batley?
If they can get a score here, they're suddenly potentially within 2 scores, and it's game on. They just need that try to give them some hope and to get them back in the contest. Will it come here? I think that should have gone out of the back, in truth. It went to Walshaw on the crash play. I think if that had gone to Elliot Hall, they might have had a numerical advantage on that left-hand side.
As they certainly would have, Matt, you know, because they were stacked on that side, weren't they? But as you say, defence is key, and Featherstone managed to snuff it out. But again, Batley just drive it forward, push him forward. Still not tackle complete, but he's got to be inches there from the line, Matt.
He's not far off at all. They just couldn't wrap the ball carrying arm up there. Here it comes to this left-hand side. They've got it to Manning. Needs to go on the back. Can they go in with Jody Broughton? He has to step in. Featherstone have scrambled across really well there. Great slide defence. One more for them to deal with. Gilmore over the top, looking for the height of Walshaw. Finding the height of Walshaw. And Walshaw scores a try. We have a game on our hands at the Millennium Stadium. It's 22 points to 10. And you suspect that the kick will be successful. It's going to be a 10-point game here.
Well, what can we say? You know, we've been saying, Matt, that, you know, it would be a test and it would be a case of just finding the chink in the Featherstone defensive armour, which, you know, for all intents and purposes, Batley have chipped away, and they've not given up the ghost. And you called it right, Matt, you know, that if Batley can score, which they have done now, it is going to give them some belief, and it is going to give them some momentum as we go into the last 20 minutes of this one. You know, again, the height, and the skill to get up there from Lucas Walshaw and pluck that ball out. You know, he's not a small man, is he? No. You know, and he's got a bit of timber on him. So again, he did well to climb above everybody and pluck it out and cross the whitewash. So 22-12, 20 minutes to go here at the Millennium on the Our League format. We're already enjoying the game, and yeah, it's don't take your eyes off this one because it's not over yet.
The persistence and perseverance of Batley really does shine through, and this is why I'm of the belief that they are going to win their fair share of games, because they just, as you say, chip away, keeping it, do the basics right, do things well, and that puts you in a position more often than not to be in a contest and potentially win the game. And look, I think most people watching this would say Featherstone have been the better of the teams, but Batley have done more than enough to keep themselves within it, and they are now in a position where they can try and make a real fist of this. And they've done themselves no disservice here, and now won a penalty, just what they needed. Well,
again, another penalty, you know, that goes in the favour of Batley, and that will see them advance up the park. Now it's how they come onto this ball now, and how Gilmore gets his players and gets his forwards moving. We see Johnny Campbell take the first drive to allow the forward player to set up. And then we see a great break here now, Matt, from Logan as he goes racing away and gets inside the Featherstone half. But great back play there to set Batley up.
Bulldogs, tails wagging at the minute, isn't it? They fancy another score here. And if they could get another score, get a bit of a dramatic finish. Here in West Yorkshire as Leake comes forward. Man went to ground there in Brown, not sure what went on there.
Tripped over his shoelace, I think.
Missed my eye, that one. As Gledhill looking to give the back some time to set something up here. It looks like it's coming to the left. Leake's trying to dive over himself. He's scrambling, he's battling, but he's going to be held up. And Featherstone breathe a sigh of relief.
Well, that was the fifth and last as well. You know, would Batley have been better employed actually spinning it out and trying to get something on the wings? Maybe so, but you know, he decided to go himself, did Leake, and ultimately Featherstone come back with possession. So again, now the referee's just cleared the tackle count again. So plenty of tackles in the bank for Featherstone as well, and brings it forward away from his line.
There's a really good carry from Wellham. He's put his team on the front foot, and that was explosive from Josh Tonks. It was a bit rash.
Well, I think we heard that up here, didn't we? We certainly heard Brad Day's teeth rattle as that one connected, and the touch comes on. How impressed are you, Matt, with the referee's new kit?
Well, you can't miss them.
No, certainly not.
I'll give them that. Now, Josh Thompson is going to have a word with the referee here. It was a little bit erratic from Thompson. He was trying to make an impact, and Wellham had just dominated on the tackle before, tried to put his team back in control, and didn't quite get his technique right there. It's a good kick as well. That's a huge kick.
Great kick there from Craig Hall that brings Featherstone, you know, deep inside this Batley half.
Forward they come, looking to just put this game away from Batley, but we know already the Bulldogs won't go away without a fight.
We'll see Kopchak come back on now as well, Matt.
For Cooper, I believe.
And Lockwood.
Here is Lockwood trying to spin out of a challenge there. Parata looking, surveying, plotting. Just goes into Moores. Brown links up. Day bumps one off but can't get away from Manning. Parata into Kopchak. He had Moores on his shoulder. He ended up taking it in himself. And they're just scrambling a little bit here at Featherstone. And there's Moores as he got over. The referee's having a good look. He says so. Junior Moores gets off the mark for Featherstone with a powerful drive. It's 26-12, and that might just put the game out of Batley's reach.
Well, first try in Featherstone colours for Junior Moors, and again Featherstone using the big men, taking it to the line and using the crash ball technique to get over Matt. And you know, they've employed that rather well tonight. I think it's worked to their advantage. We've seen it with Kopchak and his try, you know, and we've seen it with again there with Junior Moors crashing over as well, you know, from close range. So we do see a change of kicker now as well, Matt.
Yeah, you did call it. Will be Chisholm. He's got a simple one. Craig Hall will want this one because he'd have. I'm certain he'd have landed this.
If Chisholm misses this,
he'll be off duty again. Needless to say, he didn't.
No.
28-12. Is that just putting it a score too far out of Batley's reach now?
I think it could be, Matt. I think it could be. You know, let's take nothing away. There's 15 minutes left, and it's never over till the final whistle. So if Batley can force an error here or get a spell of possession, they may be able to come up with something that, again, just puts that little bit of a question in Featherstone's mind. But so far, it is advantage Featherstone.
It's been a real good watch. This an attritional battle between two solid teams, and Featherstone just looking like they'll come out on top here with about a quarter of an hour to go. Another good carry from Gale. He's done a lot of work. He's been really good tonight, Gareth Gale. And there's a man down for Batley. James Brown, he's up. He says he's all right. Gets a thumbs up. There was a word in the ear there from James Brown. Don't know what that was all about. Or maybe it's get off, leave me alone. I'm fine.
He's just wishing him a good Friday, and he's saying, you know, happy Easter.
Maybe. Here's Parata. So lively, isn't he? He's so energetic.
He's a great player, you know, and what a lot of people don't know, he's very, very intelligent lad, is Dean Parata. Very intelligent.
Lockwood still going, still pushing forward. Takes 3 men to put him to the floor. Fifth tackle for Rovers. Be put into the sky by Brown. It's taken by Hall, and he'll have felt that one in the ribs. That's a rib tickler from Welham. Welcome to Championship Rugby, Elliot Hall.
Yeah, welcome to, as you say, Championship Rugby, and welcome to Featherstone. He certainly met that well, didn't he, Welham? And I think all will know, but the resilience of all to get back up and quickly play the ball has helped Batley here.
Yep, just need to try and make the way upfield. That's a good carry. Just to put them on the front foot there. Doing what they can as Buchanan. Buchanan's been quiet tonight. He's been really good in the games I've seen, and he's just not quite had as much of a say this time.
Well, as you say, you know, for Batley, Brown's been outstanding. Everett's been outstanding, you know, and Gilmore as well, and his half-back partner of Leake and also White. You know, they've really stuck at the task. Have they come up a little bit short? Who knows? It's not over yet, but Featherstone certainly now looking as if their fitness is getting on top, Matt.
Yeah, they do just look to be getting ahead of steam here, and I hope for Batley's sake it doesn't become a blowout, because they don't deserve it to be. But Featherstone are really getting on top now, coming alive. Nice, neat kick through, and Hall taking no risks, batting that out. But it's a goal line dropout, and just very quickly, as we've seen Featherstone do in other games, they've seized control and are really looking to take the game now to their opposition.
Well, this is what Featherstone are good at, and this is what James Webster has instilled in his team in the in his coaching period here at Featherstone. That, you know, to punish teams and to not give anything away. You know, when you've got that chance, you turn that screw.
Well, a penalty to Batley here. It was a short kick-off, and poor Dane Manning's got cramp. I don't know what the penalty was. I don't know if it was because he was tackled in the air. He had challenged in the air there, Dane Manning. He looks in a bit of discomfort. I said it were cramp. It might be a bit more sinister than that for.
Did he fall awkward there on his ankle, Matt? You know, because he did seem to go up for the ball, didn't he, with the Featherstone player? So Is he all right?
He when he first planted his foot, he didn't look all right.
No,
but he looks to have hobbled it off. Penalty for Batley then. That Gilmore was aiming for us, I think.
Yeah,
Not too far from us on the country.
That's it. Cheers, Tom. We'll have that one later.
Yep. And Batley come on the attack. They'll be happy with the ball. I think just a bit of respite after the last... Oh, it's a one-on-one ball steal. I jinxed him and Hardcastle's coming away. Oh, that was cheeky. That was very cheeky, and it was a good last-ditch tackle from Ben White. Hardcastle would have been away if he hadn't got hold of him. We've seen a few of these ball steals in Super League, and it's found its way to the Championship there as Welland brings it forward.
Well, he certainly collared him by the shirt collar there, didn't he? To you, I know that's a bit cheesy, but he did. Big man, Kopchak.
He won't be stopped. But they've given a forward pass.
Well, we're certainly seeing it all now, and we hope that you're certainly getting your money's worth on the Our League format of watching this game. You know, Featherstone trying to turn on the style there. Batley being really, really great in defence and making sure that Featherstone don't get up this head of steam, and it is Batley that will come away with it in the I think we've got about 10 minutes left of this one.
Yep. Ball's come loose. Penalty for a ball steal on James Brown. He does win a lot of penalties for ball steals, James. I think because the way he carries and he keeps that arm free, teams try and wrap it up, and because they have to pay so much attention to it, it can cause him some issues. Anyway. Penalty for Batley. They'll start just shy of halfway. And two balls on the field, I think. Now we have to wait. Not too long to go now. As Manning brings it forward, he's tackled just shy of halfway. Leak into Gledhill. Puts the ball to the floor. Play the ball. And here is James Brown. Again, strong carry. He'll be glad to be back on the field, and he'll be better for this outing as well. Gledhill again. Tom Gilmore just saw him for a bit of a from-being back play there. I think he wanted that ball off Gledhill. He didn't get it. He looks like he's going to be a player for them, Tom Gilmore. And play now. Ben White running to line. Oh, brilliant offload. That's superb from Batley. And though that may end up a consolation, that was a really, really neat try. The two halfbacks combining. The ball from White into Logan was tremendous. 28-16.
Well, you know, it's not all over, is it? As we say, you know, that brings Batley a little bit more credibility and a little bit more credence to the scoreline, and it doesn't take nothing away, Matt, from what has been a good Batley performance. You know, Craig Lingard, obviously it's the first league match of the season. He knows what he's going to have to do, and James Webster as well. I dare say that he'll have his questions and his issues to address as well. But you know, great enterprising play, as you say, the half-back combination from Batley, allowing the score to go to Batley, and obviously the try come in, and that makes it 28-18.
28-18. Well, we've said that the game's beyond Batley's reach. I've seen deficits be turned around in a quicker period of time than this. Think back to that £1 million game when Salford were down with 3 minutes left and managed to ultimately win the game. So maybe not quite all over for Batley yet. And they win a penalty. High shot from Kopchak. Well, that's just what they needed. It'll march them up the field. Well,
this again it goes back to what we were saying, you know, about having that spell of sustained pressure. And obviously Featherstone were going to go down there and obviously look to keep Batley down there, but they've played into Batley's hands and come up with a penalty, which allows Batley to come further up the field, Matt.
Looking to put something on here to really give us that grandstand finish that, who knows, maybe we will get it. They'll need to come up with something rather special. As Brown and Parata collide. He's wrestled off and flings an offload away. And can't make any further meters from that one, Batley, unfortunately for them. Logan waits at dummy half into White and carried in by Blagborough, who's marching Featherstone back upfield there. They didn't get round his legs and he punished them for that as Gledhill off the short play takes it over the 40. Now this is surely going to go high from Gilmore. Finds its way to White. He does put it high. Hall's chasing to go up against Craig Hall, that was. But Craig Hall, he needed to take that for his team and he made it look easy.
So all in all, Hall did well.
Yes, that's correct. And here's Blackmore trying to get his team on the front foot with one of those carries where he doesn't really give his body much care and attention, does he? And he just launches himself in. Parata comes out. Featherstone wanting a penalty, not getting one. They're almost on halfway. And I think that was Blagborough, wasn't it, who came shooting out, just trying to cut with something. But Holton showing he's not just all physical, he's got nice late footwork there as Chivson puts it up. It looks a little bit wide of the mark, but it might bounce kindly for Craig Hall. It's run dead in the end. In complete truth, that's not a bad kick for Featherstone at all in the end, because Batley will restart 10 out from their own line, chasing the game with about 6 minutes to play. Well,
it's a get out of jail kick. He's that one, Matt, if anything, and he did kick it into the dark corner, which I think certainly helped Featherstone's course. But it is Batley who again now will come back up this slope, and Batley will certainly want to see what they can force. If they can get another error here or get a penalty from this Featherstone team, then again it'll push them further up the park and give them further reason and cause.
But Dane Manning has dropped the ball. Jack Bussey enjoyed that one. Screams in delight at that one. Dane Manning disappointed with himself by his own standards. Dane Manning's normally a 7.5 out of 10 every week. Not quite hit that today, but as we said, he's been out for a while.
Interesting there, as the Featherstone Rovers players started to celebrate, how Dane Chisholm clearly made himself heard, and settled everybody down and said, come on, the game's not over yet.
Which it isn't. About 5.5 to play, we think, here. As Parata gives it into Lockwood, just setting him up. But that ball looks to have come loose. And again, Featherstone, if you have one criticism of Featherstone over the early weeks, when they're in those positions, they're not respecting the ball enough, and they ultimately throw away the opportunity to put some shape on further down or later in the set.
I know it's early doors, Matt, and stuff like that, and this is what we're saying. If it is a criticism of Featherstone, it is about respecting that ball, and that's something that they do need to address, as the season progresses. Because again, not taking anything away from Batley, but you're going to get a game where you turn over possession like that, and the opposition are just going to kill you for it, aren't they?
Fairly ominous for the rest, though, that they still look like they're going to go. It'll be free from free in competitive action, despite clearly there being stuff that they can improve on. And it'll probably give Featherstone a whole host of confidence that they can do that. We say 3 from 3. It's not just over yet, this one. Not as Jack Logan puts the feet on and gets an offload away in the end, and that gives Brown the opportunity to bring it further. Oh, that was naughty there from Ben Blackmore in backplot. He had a little bit of afters at Jack Logan there. I don't know if that was caught, but I certainly caught it in the corner of my eye, Pete. It was naughty, that, from Blackmore.
Is that something that's just carried on all game, though, I think? And I think it may have carried on from the previous meetings as well, if anything, Matt. But whether or not it'll be picked up later by, the powers that be, the RFL, etc., will remain to be seen. But Wellham's to the fore here and taking, 3 Batley players to drag him down.
Not long to go now here. Looks like Featherstone are going to get the 2 competition points, but they've been pushed by Batley, who the second time in a week have shown they are no pushovers. Not even against the big hitters in this competition. As Kopchak, that ball comes up, they send one-on-one and Buchanan brings it away, and they may have numbers on this right-hand side. Still going forward over the 20. Is this a late flurry from the Bulldogs? They are looking for a score here with Tonks coming forward. And the big man is put down 10 out. Leak barking instructions out. Where will this ball go? The referee's given a knock on against Tonks.
How unlucky.
And just as it looked like Batley may be able to give us a grandstand finish, they dropped the ball at the most crucial time. And Featherstone, not for the first time, it must be said, have to breathe a sigh of relief.
Certainly do. And, again, it's early stages, Matt. It's first league game. Things will get better as the season progresses. Teams will get match fit, and errors like that will probably, reduce to next to nothing. But not taking anything away from Batley, and not taking anything away from the way that they've played this game. They've kept at it.
And let's face it as well. Every coach in the competition, round one, would take a win, however it may come. And by no means have Featherstone been bad tonight. They've not whatsoever. But I'm sure James Webster will feel there's some improvement in his team, just as I'm sure every other coach in the competition does at this stage of the year. Last tackle for Featherstone, and Chisholm on the ball, 30 out, stabs it through. The chase is on from Holton, collected by Campbell, but the chase from Holton, brilliant. He's been really good tonight, Pete.
He has. I've been really, really impressed with Frankie Holton. And like I said, he's, again there, great defence there from Featherstone, dragging the Batley player behind the line to get the dropout. And again, that all comes from the hard work of Frankie Holton.
I've got to ask you, with about 2 minutes to play, for your man of the match. A lot of contenders out there. Who are you going to go for?
Well, there is a lot of contenders, as you say. I've been impressed with Everett from Batley. I've been impressed with Gareth Gale, who now's in possession for Featherstone. But I said it early on, and I've said it, a few minutes ago. I think today Frankie Holton's had a fantastic game, and he's well deserving of today's our league man of the match.
I will not disagree with you there. Frankie Holton, our man of the match, up on the gantry, and Featherstone looking for a worthy finish to a first win. Ball goes down from Blackmore, and the referee in the end has adjudged it forward, which he can't believe. But again, it comes back to that what we're saying. Dropping the ball.
That was a bit of a late
position.
call.
It was a very
late call.
Oh, well, what they've given, I must apologise. We didn't see it from here. A Batley man battered it down first.
Ah, right.
So that's maybe why it was a late call. We'll let the referee check. I think Colin Hall's had a good game, Jack Smith.
Yeah, he has. He's controlled it well. There's not been too much involvement from him, has there? So, yeah, great play.
No, dropped by Day. Again, as we've said, in good ball. Just not respecting it enough to apply the pressure that they could do.
Well, it's uncharacteristic of Brad Day, in all fairness. In the games I've seen him play, he does normally carry the ball well, and he hits the ball at pace as well. But certainly been a little bit off by his standards tonight. So I dare say that he'll be a little bit annoyed with himself. Going back to what we're saying, other players that's caught my eye again. Big raps to Elliot Hall for Batley. As a final out goes, Matt.
And there we are. That is where the action comes to an end. Really good, battling, combative match, this one. But it's Featherstone who prevail, 28 points to 18. The Rovers come out on top against the tenacious Batley Bulldogs. And Pete, all in all, probably a fair reflection of the game, the scoreline. Take nothing away from Batley, take nothing away from Featherstone. Both teams put on a showing tonight.
Well, it's got to be said that both teams are to be applauded for the performances that they've put in. First league game of the season. All right, we know they've played in pre-season friendlies. We know we played in the Challenge Cup, but this is the one where the graph starts, Matt. This is where the action begins. So for both teams to turn in the performance that they have, you look at the scoreline, and again, I spoke to you before the game, and I said, on average, there's never more than 31 points between these two, and we see again tonight, 10 points of difference. Yep. So it is great testament to both teams, great testament to both coaches, that they've been able to again put on a performance and ask questions of one another. Where can both teams improve, Matt? Certainly we've seen it. We've said Featherstone, respect the ball a little bit more in the carry. Again, Batley, when they're in possession, learn how to hold that ball, learn how to complete that set of six, and not just run it dead or let the attack fizzle out. So all in all, Matt, a great game and a great spectacle for for any neutral supporters, and we hope that I've certainly enjoyed it. I hope that you know, the fans have enjoyed it too, Matt.
Indeed. Let's take a look at some of those highlights that ultimately defined this contest in round one of the championship. This is starting in the second half, of course. This was a beautiful try where Hall just seamlessly entered the line, went wide, and then the finish in the end from Gareth Gale. Probably the try of the match, that one, from Gareth Gale in that right-hand corner. But Batley, well, they weren't going to give up without a fight. You've got to admire their perseverance, and the ball there from Ben White into Jack Logan really was, again, another try of the match contender, that one, because he did really well to get it away. But just as he looked like they could get in it, Craig Kopchak set it up, and it was another power play, the next one. The big man, Junior Moores, tough man to stop at any distance. He got alone 5 yards. He got the latest try. This was the forward pass. It was forward. On second viewing, it was forward from Craig Hall. It's denied a try. And then this at the end with Dane Manning flinging the ball over. It almost put Batley back into the game, did this one, when Lucas Walshaw got on the scoreboard, got high, and got Batley the score they wanted. But wasn't to be in the end for the Bulldogs, but they'll certainly take plenty from this performance, and going to get to see this try one more time from Hall, Wellham, and then Gale finishing it off. 2018, it's 28-18, I should say, rather. It's finished here. Featherstone off the mark and backing up those Challenge Cup victories to lay down their statement of intent. We've got plenty more to come. There's been 3 games today, of course. Halifax, a brilliant win over London to start their campaign. Oldham coming from behind to beat Swinton, and then this result too. Tomorrow, potentially, the game of the round, York v Toulouse, and then Dewsbury v Whitehaven, both of them on our league. And then on Sunday, the Easter special culminates with Sheffield taking on Bradford and Newcastle taking on Widnes. You can, of course, watch all of those games right here on our league. As for now, though, we're going to wrap up proceedings. A big thank you to all of you for watching and joining us, keeping us company this evening. We hope you've enjoyed it. I've been Matt Short, along with Pete Dutton. It's finished here. Featherstone Rovers 28, Batley Bulldogs 18.